Carlos Santana, a significant California artist. So who is Carlos Santana? Carlos Santana is a famous Mexican-American musician based out of San Francisco. He became famous around the late 1960s with his band Santana, which introduced a fusion of rock and Latin American music. As a fourth-generation musician and the son of a violinist who played mariachi music, Carlo was taught how to play the violin. At 8 years old, he was drawn to the guitar and the electric blues of John Lee Hooker and B.B. King. During the 60s, the group flourished and gained popularity from its blues music in the San Francisco Latin district. In the early 70s, Santana had took a step towards jazz, which morphed more into a funky direction by the late 70s. Santana has experimented with the blending of many styles of music from a multitude of ethnic sources, which has shaped the concept of world music. Rolling Stone has also named him number 15 on the magazine's list of the 100 greatest guitarists of all time, noting that Santana's crystalline tone and clean arcing sustain makes him the rare instrumentalist who can be identified in just one note. Santana's constant evolving sound has always been ahead of its time in its universal appeal even before the category world music. Along with being a world-renowned musician, Carlos continues his dedication to humanitarian outreach and social activism. This video is of Santana's live performance in 1976 in London, UK. Without lyrics, Santana's sound alone expresses a multitude of emotion on its own and lets the audience create their own picture of what story Carlos is painting. Carlos Santana told Mojo magazine in November 2008 that he felt that this was his first recording when he truly was able to express himself. He explained, "I remember being alone one evening. Until then, when I heard my records, it was like seeing myself in the mirror, and there was no me there. Only a lot of other guitarist faces, B.B. King, George Benson, Peter Green. That evening I heard Samba Pa Ti on the radio and I looked in the mirror and it was my face, my tone, my fingerprints, my identity, my uniqueness. Because when I recorded it, I was thinking of nothing. It was just pure feeling. I have a suspicion it came from the stuff I bottled up inside of me that I didn't know how to express or articulate. I get angry because why can't I say what I really mean? Then Samba Pa Ti comes out of me, and everybody understands it." Smooth won Song of the Year, Record of the Year, and Best Pop Collaboration Vocals at the 2000 Grammys. The album Supernatural also won for Best Rock Album and Album of the Year due to Clive Davis, a legendary record executive who was the mastermind behind the album. Santana had not had a hit since Hold On in 1982, so Davis teamed him up with contemporary musicians like Wyclef Jean, Everlast, and Lauryn Hill to make sure the younger generation took notice. The result was an incredibly successful album that went over well with Santana's old fans and created an army of new fans. This was the first single and it spent 12 weeks at number 1 in the US. The trend of aging rockers calling in hot young artists to give them contemporary appeal became known in the music press as the Carlos Santana effect, thanks to the success of Supernatural. Oya 2014 by Santana featuring Pitbull is on Santana's new album Corazon that was released May 2014. This remix to Oye Como Va is a great example of Santana's constant exploration and experimentation of a variety of genres and culture. Including a newer artist that is recognized by today's youth shows how Santana continues to use his music to relate to different crowds. Oya 2014 is fun, hip, and a fresh take on one of Santana's greatest hits that demonstrates how Carlos has been and continues to be the visionary force behind the artistry that transcends musical genres and generational, cultural, and geographical boundaries. What is California art? California art is bold, diverse, innovative, empowering, fresh, meaningful, and original. California art is used to make bold steps to achieve meaningful messages and create something that will last to influence others and make a mark, rather than just something pretty to look at. California art has attitude in expressing whatever idea, style, and materials creates the art. California art is innovative by the styles that it revives or reinvents to develop fresh and original styles. California art empowers those from California to feel empowered and proud to live here, whether it's the gorgeous weather, rich history, diversity, or the great opportunities. California art is significant in how successful the state has become. Without California art, the world would not be able to witness what the state has to offer. For example, maps of California made during the 16th century showed what California looked like, while the Gold Rush ads that were created displayed what opportunities were awaiting people. The diversity within California teaches others about one's culture or roots, which unites the audience. California art also honors roots like the baskets of the California's first artists. California represents not only the artists of California, but also the weather, way of life, and the opportunities here. We may not have witnessed the great talent, ideas, or innovation that has come to California if it wasn't for its art. California Artist 1982 by Robert Arneson. Arneson was responsible for creating a pivotal impact on one of art's central roles, that of raising questions in order to change the way we view the world. He created a number of self-portraits using photographs, mirrors, and drawings which have each seemed to reveal a new identity of his. His ironic, humorous, and controversial portraits were used as vehicles to present universal concepts and feelings. Arneson is a California artist because of his bold attitude and innovative style that makes people giggle, shy away, feel disturbed, or truly enjoy. He embraces his California roots and he plays off the California stereotypes that others have made. Robert Arneson has stayed true and fully embraced who he was and where he came from, no matter what criticism he faced. From Porfirianism to the Revolution, 1964, by David Alfaro Sigueros. Sigueros' art has the California art attitude and the innovative and empowering qualities. David Alfaro Sigueros was a Mexican painter who was a part of the Big Three and founders of the Mexican mural movement, along with José Clemente Orozco and Diego Rivera. Sigueros was a lifelong political activist who would combine his political views and aesthetic ideals with modern technical means to create a truly public art. Sigueros was not afraid to express himself, especially his political views. He used his art to paint the pictures of his messages for his audience and did not fear the consequences because he was staying true to himself. Lucy Tellez with her baskets, circa 1940s. Lucy Tellez was one of Yosemite Miwok and Mono Lake Paiute descent who learned basket weaving as a child. Tellez was a proud woman who shared her basket weaving techniques, which had played a role in conveying American Indian culture to the public. Tellez and Parker's work are part of the nonprofit Yosemite Conservancy. Their contributions enable the preservation of the park's cultural history and enhance the visitor experience. The sharing of traditions depicts the history of weaving demonstrations in the park from 1929 to present. Examination of their critical role as American Indian liaisons to the public and giving visitors the opportunity to connect to the region's culture and appreciation of the craftsmanship of each basket. Carmel Valley Pumpkins, 1907, by Evelyn McCormick. Evelyn was one of the Monterey Peninsula painters and also the first female artist in California to embrace Impressionism. As an Impressionist painter, she would attempt to capture the light of the specific time of a scene. Evelyn McCormick's work was often compared to Monet and Hanson, whose brushstrokes were free and random. McCormick's choice of subject reveals her embrace of the Impressionist influence, but she takes the influence to develop her own style with very calculated and studied brushstrokes. Her subjects are specific and intimate rather than broad views. California Impressionist artists further the idea of nature's peacefulness by enhancing the